So if you watch this channel or you follow me on social media, you will notice that I am in love with Batgirl as a superhero. She is my absolute favorite, and I always have pictures of her on Instagram. I have multiple action figures. I plan on getting more. I rarely see a Batgirl action figure I don't buy, and these panels right here. Let me get to it. Are the reason why. And so let's talk about this book, and I will tell you why Batgirl is my favorite superhero. To start off, a little backstory on me. I am disabled. It wasn't anything I was born with. It was rather mundane. I was working a job I'd worked for nearly a decade at that point, doing something I'd literally done thousands of times. I took a wrong step, heard a loud pop, and I couldn't walk anymore. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't put any pressure on my left leg. And a misdiagnosis and botched surgery later, I was told I would be disabled for the rest of my life. And quite frankly, it was hard for me to get used to because having to reframe your life in a way that you didn't expect to was hard. And finding connection when you're still trying to find out who you are as an adult is even harder. And so when I see an accurate and well thought out, well written portrayal of life with disabilities in my entertainment, it makes me feel a more part of the world and more a part of society because everybody gets to see themselves represented. And fortunately, nowadays, when I was younger, we didn't have a lot of black action heroes. Now, I can't keep up with the comic books. I don't have enough money to buy uh, every book with the African American lead in it. And I would like to see that spread through all other, people, through Asians, if you're LGBTQ, if you're fat, you're tall, you're short, you're small. We all need to be represented in a way that is not exploitative. And Batgirl does that. She was injured, being shot through the spine, I believe, from the Joker. It was before I got into it. I went back as far as I could in this series, but I haven't gotten to that yet. By the time I'm introduced to the character, um, she is already injured. She has worked her way from the wheelchair to getting an implant that allows her to walk, and she is settling into her role as Oracle, and still balancing that with fighting crime when she can. And the first thing I noticed, like I said, she's not just merely sympathy bait in her books. Yes, she's disabled, but she's not always wheelchair bound. But sometimes she is wheelchair bound, which is very true to the life of a disabled person. Um, yeah, she may not have the ability to ambulate like she used to, but she's just as strong in the chair as she is out of the chair. We grow, we adapt. One of the reasons I got into restoring my health was seeing that represented in this comic book. I've always been overweight, but when I got injured, I just kind of gave up on life and my weight ballooned up and I, didn't exercise, so my muscles kind of withered away and I let myself go. But a few years ago, shortly after I started reading comics, I got into weightlifting, and I train 6 days a week. I bought my own gym equipment, so even if I can't make it out my door, I can crawl to my workbench and get to moving. And I went from having fat, skinny shoulders and arms to, I got some size on me now. And while I may not be able to stand up consistently, I can pick up heavy shit. I can, use my mobility aids a lot better. I am a lot stronger than most of the people that I'm around when it comes to upper body stuff. And, I think, a big part of that was seeing, that representation in the comic book. And yeah, it's silly. And it shouldn't take that. But sometimes we need to see ourselves reflected in art to know what, to give us that little bit boost. And so I really enjoyed that. And in this story in particular, she is, not in the guise at all of Batgirl. She is coming back from, wrapping up a story arc here and a big kind of final boss fight going home. And she realizes that something is not quite right. Things are amiss. Someone is in her apartment and she is pretty aggressively trying to figure out what is going on. And lo and behold, it's the Joker. And he gets the upper hand. But the whole time, he is controlling the situation. She's thinking, she's planning, she's using her head, dismissal. Um, and come to find out that, a big reason why he's able to get the upper hand is he used some Wayne tech to hack her implant. So essentially, she is a marionette. And while he is, talking about, his plans, what he's going to do with Wayne Tech, his big soliloquy, the big evil villain monologue that they all must do for some reason, which never works out for them. She is processing what she is going to do. She's like, okay, if I can get him out to the hallway, I have a panic button. Who does that panic button go to? I have this, I have that. And she is planning, even when she is without her chair, literally without control of her legs. She is planning and not giving up and working. And she eventually gets the upper hand, not with power, not with physicality, but by laughing at the Joker and making him the punchline of a joke as opposed to him telling the joke. And what that does is it gets him sloppy. It gets him off of his rocker, and he gets sloppy. He gets angry, and that's when she takes the opportunity and she waits for the perfect time. And while he's monologuing and trying to regain that sense of control, she is formulating what the hell she's gonna do. And what she does, when I first read this panel, I think I may have audibly shouted, "Yeah!" Because what she does is like a badass. She realizes that he has control of where she goes, what she does, because of this damn implant, which gives her the ability to walk and to function. And so what does she do about it? She cuts the damn implant out of her back and whoops his ass from her knees. Straight works dude over. And it was like, I cannot explain, the feeling I got of seeing somebody, because at the time when I was reading this, I was in a vulnerable place. I was in a place where I didn't feel control and I didn't feel power in my life. But seeing that was a reminder that we are more than what we can do, and our abilities are greater than our disabilities. And we can even the odds, if not best, whatever situation comes to us, um, from where we are. And yeah, I really dug it. Like I said, I read it before, and this is when I go back to when I want to get that kick in the ass, because, that's a powerful visual. Visual is somebody who is already disabled and dealing with the trauma of facing down the person who put them in that situation. And then this badass moment right here is when she says, "Screw it. I don't need to walk to work you over. I'm taking this implant out and we're going to war." Man. So anyway, that's one of the reasons why Batgirl became my favorite superhero. There was another moment that I may address in a feature video from Get Joker. That was a vulnerable moment. That was really the first time I shed a tear from a comic book of the struggle of being disabled, newly disabled, trying to figure things out. Um, this is a character that always speaks to me and always inspires me. So this has been another edition of a second look where I'm looking at Batgirl 47 in 2020. A great book. If you have a friend struggling with a disability, I cannot suggest enough. This title, Batgirl from 2020 forward, or even Batgirls. Um, I believe Batgirl started in 2021, 2020, and ran for less than 20 issues. But that was a great series featuring her and the complexities of her situation. Sometimes she was wheelchair bound, sometimes she was able and mobile. And on top of that, not only do you have the conflict of that going on, but she's also her romantic interest is a police officer who she's going close to, but this police officer has been injured to a point of permanent disability by Batgirl, and he does not know that Barbara Gordon, his potential love interest, is Batgirl, the person who crippled him. And that is something that Joker tries to use to blackmail her into doing what he wants. And, so that's a lot that she had to go up against in this issue. Batgirl, number 47, 2020, DC Comics. You can probably find it on a Midtown Comics, flash sale. I always say, register with these websites so you can find out where they're going to have flash sales. And or check your local bins, your local comic book store. I'm a collector. I buy and I keep what I buy to reread. But a lot of people buy, read, and then resell. So you may find this at your local comic book store. And if you don't have a local comic book store, now is the time to check out coffeeandthecomic.com. That's where I get all my brand new books shipped to me weekly for a low price. And on top of that, when you use code OLDNERDWY, you get 15% off through the month of October. So now it's the time to check them out and support a local business, and they ship nationwide. So this has been Batgirl 47. I will see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I am out.